Now you're a level even higher. Shine on, be the man, right into the sun. Stay strong, you can make it if you know inside you have the answer. Shine on, time to play. Game on, nothing left in your brain. Very close to victory, the finish line for you and me. Never give up the path to your destiny.
Hey guys, Samurai here, back again with another episode of the Pokemon Sword and Shield series. Last time we left off, the group were on their way to Motostoke after the Unite tournament. Now they're on their way to Hammerlocke in the second half of the wild area. While the group is walking, they end up sparking a conversation about the recent events that happened in the Unite tournament. They're talking about their battle against Team Rise, this being Elaine talking about Peonia and Chase talking about Rinto. Both of them are talking about them in Access and what their battles were like, and Ash is listening keenly to the conversation. Elaine swears that she knows Peonia from somewhere, but she can't really name it on her, and that's why she was distracted so long during the battle. But what she can also attest to is that Peonia's Pokemon are really strong despite their pre-evolved status. She's questioning if Peonia was a former champion of a league or if she has prior battle experience. However, Ash says he hasn't heard of her, and neither has Chase, though Elaine is still thinking on it. Now here comes Chase thinking about Rinto. Rinto had a lot of precise movements and used his moves excellently, not to mention his cocky attitude. They did meet him before the tournament, but they didn't get a chance to actually have a discussion with the guy. Meanwhile, Ash was talking about battling Lucas, and he still continues his discussion of Lucas being like a shield. He actually describes Lucas as the opposite of himself, using very by-the-books means, but because he's using by-the-book means, it's expertly executed flawlessly. The entire group is really questioning if they have what it takes to beat Team Rise if they ever decide to team up again. However, Ash says they're gonna keep on growing stronger, and maybe they'll beat all of them when they eventually go into the Galar League. As they keep walking up through the wild area, they do end up doing a raid battle. This would be Ash's first raid battle. While Chase and Elena have seen raid battles before, they've never partaken in one. This raid battle being for the pre-evolved version of Dragapult, being Drippy. Ash is having the time of his life in this kind of battle. It's against one powerful opponent while teaming up with his friends. This is all he could ask for in a battle. He's having a great time. He's using Pikachu in this battle, so he's clearly having the upper hand. While Drippy is incredibly powerful for a pre-evolved Pokemon, the battle is definitely reaching its end, and Drippy doesn't look like it's slowing down one bit, but neither is Pikachu. But Ash knows that it's better to catch this kind of Pokemon rather than just defeat it and be done with it, so Ash ends up catching Drippy and adding it to his team. A couple of ways after this, it ends up being nighttime, and they do stay over at the nursery that you can find in the wild area. While they're there, Elaine meets up with a Squirtle. This Squirtle shares a common trend of pre-evolved Pokemon being really strong. The nursery owner says that this Squirtle had a pretty powerful parent Pokemon and has a couple of breeding moves that it got through its father. However, the trainer eventually came back to take its Pokemon, and Squirtle was left behind as it was just an egg at the time. Squirtle is desperately looking for a trainer, and Elaine wants to catch it. However, Squirtle is incredibly powerful and doesn't know how to manage its power. Ash says that him and Chase would be glad to help out Squirtle along with Elaine, so Elaine adds Squirtle to her team. When it comes to the next morning, the group do a couple more raid battles just to train up their Pokemon and get them to around a stronger level. They eventually do reach Hammerlocke gates. However, they see a Grookey causing trouble, and this is when we get reintroduced to Hop again. Hop says that his Grookey is causing trouble, and it's a bit of a troublemaker. Ash says that he's more than familiar with Pokemon causing trouble, especially Pokemon like Grookey. When they eventually make it into Hammerlocke, this is when we get reintroduced to Sonia. Sonia is glad that the group could make it. She's here on business as she's here still studying Dynamax Pokemon, and she asks Raihan if she could observe some gym battles so she could study Dynamax Pokemon more likely. This is when we get introduced to Raihan. Raihan already knowing who Ash is, as Ash showed a great performance at all his gym battles along with the Unite Cup. He's actually offering Ash a free battle against him. While Ash would be inclined to take the offer, he makes one condition, that he wouldn't get a badge if he won. When Raihan is curious on why, Ash says that he wants to do it the old-fashioned way and earn it. So they end up having a battle. Ash sends out his newly caught Drippy as he thinks another dragon type against a dragon type would be great experience for it. Meanwhile, this is when we see Raihan send out Sandaconda. It's a battle between Sandaconda and Drippy, and while Drippy can fly and dodge Sandaconda's ground type moves, Raihan still gets the upper edge because Sandaconda has some rock type moves, and this ends up still putting a damper on Drippy. However, since Drippy was an unnaturally powerful Pokemon since it had all that Dynamax energy flowing throughout it, it still manages to put up a good fight, but the fight does end with Ash losing. Raihan still congratulates him on a fun battle, and this is when we get reintroduced to Rose and Oleana. Rose says that was a great battle and he wants to take Sonia and Ash somewhere, along with Raihan, so they head to the Hammerlocke Vault. This is when we get introduced to Lucas again, along with Leon. They're all here because Ash and Lucas have shown great expertise, and he thought that, hey, if they're endorsed by the champion, they must be a high enough level of a trainer to know this information. They get to see the origins of the first darkest day and learn the history of the two kings. They all talk about this, and it goes the same way as it did in-game. After they leave, Ash wonders where the next gym would be. Raihan points him in the direction of Stoon's side, telling him that this is where you would find your next opponent, and that they have two gym leaders. You can make a choice to fight either gym leader. However, he thinks that Ash would have a great time fighting Bee, as she's a fighting type expert. Ash, more excited than ever, is getting ready to leave. Lucas says that he wants to do some training in the Hammerlocke University before he leaves so he can be more and well prepared. And this is when we see the group leave Hammerlocke. And that will be the end of the episode. Yeah, this episode was a lot shorter, but that's because next week's episode I have something really big planned. And I hope you guys stick around for that. Anyways, Samurai out.